Hello, 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 and welcome back to the Formula Fun podcast with me, Sinéad.
Hi, and me, Jay. Sorry, I had something in my teeth. Ha 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 ha. Hello, welcome back, and thank you for joining us and have been watching us on or listening to us on your podcast, wherever you get your podcast from. We are still a relatively new podcast. If you are new to the party, welcome to the Formula Fun podcast. Sinead and I just talk rubbish about various races that have happened, all the races that happened throughout the season. And this year is shaping up to be quite the season now that Ferrari and Monsieur Sir Hamilton has entered the fray.
Yes, a lot more fun to watch for sure. But as a George Russell fan, I've been on tenterhooks. So yeah, I'm hoping that his trajectory will turn upwards again. But who knows? We'll see what happens this weekend.
Yeah, Austria. I love Austria. I feel like it always produces a bit of a banger. 2 years ago, we had Verstappen and Norris coming together. We've had Leclerc and Verstappen come together. We've had Hamilton and Rosberg come together. Did you watch the clip I mentioned about last week of Pastor Maldonado and Max Verstappen?
Not yet.
She had one job. She had one job, everyone. It's okay. Don't
Oh,
worry. It's
sorry,
okay. You can watch it and then you
guys.
can come back to us next week when we record it.
Yes,
And
I promise. I promise that I will. Wasn't it last year that Kimi Antonelli took Max Verstappen out last year? He drove into
Yes,
it.
it was. It was
Yeah,
last year. In fact,
yeah.
Kimi Antonelli really stopped Max Verstappen from winning the championship last year. There was quite a number of occasions where they either came together or he couldn't hold up Norris for a win in Qatar. Not a
Yes.
win, a podium in Qatar, and yeah, Max Verstappen. I mean, Max Verstappen is from what I see, a pretty straight up, straightforward guy. But I'm sure at some point he was like, "Dude, Kimi
Come
Antonelli,
on.
please just
Yeah. Please.
help a brother out."
Please just like drive into literally anyone else. Yeah.
Yeah, um, yeah, but no, Austria Grand Prix will be very exciting. I think I'm hearing rumors about the fact that Ferrari might be even bringing some of their engine upgrades that they've been allowed to produce. And Lando Norris said last week at the end of the Barcelona Grand Prix, in which Hamilton won for Ferrari, he said that if Ferrari had a better engine, they'd be making all of us look a little bit silly because the
Mm.
Ferrari is the fastest car in terms of aerodynamics and stuff. It's just the fact that the engine is a little bit on the lower end of power. So therefore, yeah, if Ferrari are
So,
bringing upgrades as
okay.
soon as they say,
So this race could be a real turning point in like the trajectory of the championship. It could really
it
like
could
at the
be.
end of the season, we could be looking back going, Austria, that's when it all kicked off.
It's when it all unfolded. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know. Fingers crossed. I think from a fan perspective, this season is. If you look at just the results, you go Russell, Antonelli, 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 Hamilton. Yeah, okay, fair
Mm-hmm.
enough. But
Yeah,
actually, the
yeah.
races themselves have actually they have delivered. And I think I could be wrong, but I think Austria should usually produces a lot of overtaking because there's two
Mm-hmm.
massive straights and limited corners, but the corners have to be very committed. But it usually offers a lot of action. So, will these new regulations help with that as well? I hope so. It's gonna be fun.
Well, I was actually going to ask you because, famously you've been flip-flopping on your opinion about the regulations. One week you think they're great, next week you think they suck. Where are you sitting now? How are we feeling?
I think the changes they've made have been good. I think the first few races, not a farce, but and they've got to try it, and it is really tricky because they're going. These new regulations. There's no way to pilot those regulations because of how expensive it is to make everything and build everything and have all
Yeah.
11 teams on the grid. That's not going to happen in like a pilot setting, so it has to be during the championship. So I understand. I think they potentially bit off more than they could chew in terms of changing the engine regulations and the aerodynamic regulations, among other
All at the
things.
same
I
time.
think it was a lot
Yeah.
to do in one go. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But this flip of power, so the power at the moment when we first started was 50-50. It's now looking more like a 55-45, 60-40 split.
Yeah.
I think they're aiming to head towards even further, so going like a 60-40 split for definite, and maybe even a little bit more from the internal combustion engine side of things. For those that don't know, an internal combustion engine is basically similar to the engine that you would have on an average everyday car. Not an average car, because obviously these are Formula One cars and they're tuned up to the highest spec, etc. But the engine is then next to a big battery, and that's been the whole conversation this year. The battery has got bigger. The internal combustion engine has it still equates to the power, but it's very much on the battery side as well in terms of how they harvest electrical energy to give them power to go down the straights, to then harvest it again in the corners. If you have driven in a electric car before, you'll probably notice that when it comes off the accelerator, it sort of decreases in speed and the speed comes off the car, but you're not pressing the brakes, and what it's doing is regenerating the battery. That's sort of also how the Formula One car is working as well. When they go through corners and they are off the throttle but still moving forward, that's generating power into the battery. What I do find interesting is there is this ADOU, additional development for something to do with the engine, has come into play, where Red Bull have been deemed the fastest engine. Mercedes get a token to update that engine. Ferrari and
McLaren.
Audi and Honda get
Sorry,
two. No,
yeah, of course.
Mercedes is
Yeah.
powering
Yeah, it's the
McLaren, so they
same.
don't
Yeah, yeah.
count.
Yeah.
So, but that has all been done via the internal combustion engine rather than the electrical power as well. So
Right.
Mercedes might have the best energy deployment battery system, which is probably transpiring that is the case, because if they didn't, they wouldn't be as fast, because apparently Red Bull had the fastest engine. When you look at the engine as a whole package, i.e. the actual engine and the battery,
And the battery.
Mercedes are clearly faster. When you look at just the internal combustion engine, apparently Red Bull are faster. So, in terms of this, like, the FIA giving out tokens for them to make their engines better, there's no way to actually gather the data or information to include the electrical power as well, which is where I think Mercedes are so far ahead. But
gotcha.
Who knows what will happen? That was probably very complicated for anyone that is just a little bit of a
Just
fan.
tuned in.
But
yeah.
Yeah, but if anyone is watching, and if anyone knows any more about it, please feel free to drop us a message on Instagram, Facebook, and any questions anyone has, feel free to do that as well, because we are always here to try and answer as many questions as we can get. But Austria's coming up, so therefore we have to do our predictions. Are we ready, Sinead?
Yep, I am ready.
Okay, so for those that don't know, Sinead is slightly newer to the sport. So
Slightly
therefore
newer.
I forfeit.
Try 15 years or something, 20 years probably.
Yeah, probably 20 or something. Yeah. But therefore, I forfeit any of my predictions should Sinead go for the same person. We don't want to go for the same person. That would make it boring. So if Sinead says someone, like she says, look, Russell for pole position, if I have also predicted George Russell, I have to change
pick
it
someone
because
else.
that's how nice I am. Yes. Okay, so our first prediction is qualifying last. Who have you gone for and why?
I have gone for our good friend Lance Stroll. I've decided we've given him enough of a Bible, and it's time for him to come back into the fray of being the last to qualify. Were you going to say Lance Stroll? Just judging by the look on your face, I feel like you were. Yep.
Yes, I was.
Yeah,
I was.
great. Well, that makes me feel good, because if
the
you
reason
thought that,
I was
then,
going to say Lance, yeah, I am denied about this. I really am denied about this, because Austria is a really fast track, especially in the last section. The corners are very, they come at you thick and fast, and they're not full like let's brake, do a 90-degree turn or whatever. It's very it's flowing, and I thought Stroll would be slowest, but I'm going to change it. Well, I have to, but I'm going to change it to Esteban Ocon.
Okay.
No real reason other than I think there might be an issue and maybe goes off the track, and for some reason Ocon is coming to mind. Sorry,
Okay.
Esteban. I know you listen to this podcast a lot, and it's nothing against you. It's just
hmm
vibes.
I'm also thinking about Stroll again. Like, part of the reason I also just what based on I didn't know that before, so I'm gonna like retroactively make my opinion stronger. Is go downstairs because I'm doing work. Come on, down to Pappy. So I think something that's going to make my opinion stronger is that Lance kind of tends to crash on those sorts of things quite a lot. Is that fair to say?
Okay.
Like more than the
Yeah.
average driver. Like he doesn't seem to have as much control in the more difficult parts of
True.
the
I
tracks.
mean, if we're going that far, maybe we should be saying Charles Leclerc.
Oh, poor Sean.
I know. I'm joking. That's mean. And I hope everything goes well for Charles this week because we're on to pole position next. Who's going to get pole position, Sinead?
George Russell.
She's backing her boy. She's backing her boy all the way. George Russell's going to make his way out of Sinead's office. If you're watching, you can see George Russell just behind. If you're listening, George Russell is stood behind Sinead on every episode. He never changes his facial expression. It's very strange.
No, he's
Um,
very good at that.
I have gone for Charlie Boy, Charles Leclerc. I think
Oh, okay.
I think he was quick in practice for Barcelona, blah blah blah, and I think yeah, provided he doesn't stack it into the wall, I think this is redemption week for Charles Leclerc, and I
Okay.
think it's going to cause Ferrari a bit of a headache
In terms
because
of their team strategy.
right. Yeah, because at the moment they need to be sort of gunning against Hamilton doing really well, and at the moment I don't know if he will do because Charles Leclerc may come back into the fray and be better. Who knows? Who knows?
Okay.
We don't know, and that's the beauty of Formula One. Okay, best of the rest is where we pick somebody who's going to finish behind probably the Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, and McLaren, the top four teams. It's sort of
Yeah.
like Formula B at the moment.
Mm.
Who's going to be top of that?
So I was going to go for Gasly just because A, I think he's been doing great, and B, I really like him. And that's as good a reason as any. But you know what? I'm going to go left field here. I'm going to say Liam Lawson. Is that who you
Yep, okay.
said?
Liam Lawson.
No way. Is that who
I
you said?
also said Liam Lawson. It was, yeah. Okay, I did have Liam Lawson down. Now I'm going to take yours and go for Pierre Gasly, and I hope Pierre does really well. Oh, actually, did you hear, just talking about Gasly, about the right to review for Mercedes? They withdrew their they withdrew their appeal for
Yeah,
the whole
for
Gasly incident
the Monaco
because
thing. Yeah.
he yeah, Mercedes said something along the lines of, it's not going to do any benefit for our team, nor the
Mm-hmm.
sport, which I totally agree with.
Mm,
But I think Russell might be sort of sitting back going,
yeah.
guys, come on, fight for
Um,
me. You actually sent me a video earlier this week about Russell and Mercedes.
mm-hmm.
You want to talk about that?
Yes, I did. I do want to talk about it, but it just came into my head there. Maybe we talk about it after the predictions, so we've got all of them, or
Sure. Yeah,
what do you
let's do
want to
that.
do?
Good idea.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay. We then do the top 5. In 5th place, who have you got, Sinead?
Right. So in a break with tradition, I actually did some research this week. I'm not just like pulling them out of thin air. And I looked back at the results of the last 5 Austrian Grand Prix to see who are the drivers that seem to suit the track best. So in 5th place, I'm going to put Leclerc.
Lovely. I have gone for Lando Norris. I think he was good last
Okay.
race, and I think McLaren still haven't quite got on top of their car. But I also think that Lando Norris got his first podium here. He likes this track. He won it last year, I think.
He did. Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah, he did.
He did.
He
Good,
did.
thank you.
Yeah.
So yes, I've gone for Norris.
Okay.
In 4th place.
I've gone for Norris for the same reasons.
Lovely. Very good. I have gone for George Russell.
Okay.
No other reason than I just think George Russell might have another shocker. Well, we'll see. In 3rd place, the bottom step of the podium.
Sir Lewis Hamilton.
Lovely. In third place, I have also gone for a Ferrari, but it's the other Ferrari. I've gone for Charles
Mm-hmm.
Leclerc
Okay.
because I think Leclerc gets his redemption on getting pole position, and then Ferrari have to be clever about it. Whether they will be or not, I don't know, but we'll see. In second place,
Max Verstappen.
ooh, this is interesting. This is where it's turned up
Mm-hmm.
because Sinead
Yeah.
hasn't put a single Mercedes in the top four, in the second to fifth at the moment, which is interesting. I
Mm-hmm.
have put a Mercedes. I have put Kimi Antonelli, but that is a very strong shout with Max Verstappen because I think
Thanks.
they could be very good at this track. I could be wrong. Well done. So in first place, your boy.
Yeah. Big time.
So what's happening to Antonelli?
He's in sixth.
He's in sixth. Okay. So it's not like he's crashing out or breaking the car or anything. He just
No,
finishes
oh
sixth.
well, maybe he has like some sort of technical or strategic failure, and then yeah, that's what I think.
Okay. It's a strong top five. I'm not gonna lie. Strong top
Thank
five.
you.
I have gone for Lewis Hamilton for the win.
Yep. Yep. He's
I
on
am
the train.
fully backing him.
He's on the
I am
train.
very much. I mean, I've always been a fan of Lewis Hamilton, but the fact that he's won his first race for Ferrari, I think he sniffs that eighth. He sniffs that eighth, and yes, as much as I don't want to agree and believe that I'm on that hype train, I am. And Lewis Hamilton's going to get his second win of the season. There's our predictions. Lovely. We'll see how they come up next week. So yes, you wanted to talk about George Russell in this video you sent me.
Yes. So it appears as though he is not being treated very well generally at Mercedes. Like we've seen, it seems like they've made quite a few strategic errors, and you could argue that they were just that sort of errors. Um, but I think I saw the rounds quite a lot this week on Reddit and stuff. That Mercedes did like a post on LinkedIn as a sort of weekend roundup, and the main things they touched on were their ex-driver Lewis winning and how happy they were about that, and apologizing to Kimi for messing up his race. And they didn't mention the fact that George came second and it was his 100th podium as a driver for them. I just feel like he's like the neglected child at the moment, and it's not looking good for him, especially, with the transfer window. Do we do that in F1 like in football, or is it more, they call it silly season, right? Where they start talking about the moves that drivers are
Silly
going to
season.
make. And I guess just it feels like things are not looking so hot for him in terms of securing his seat for next year, which makes me very sad. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think he's under contract for next. He's not under contract for
They
next year,
keep,
so
they're a real like
I
carrot and stick
don't
with him. Like they
know.
keep refusing to sign him for more than a year at a time, which is,
Yeah,
must be really demoralizing, like really hard to kind of keep your head up.
I I've listened to a couple of people comment on George recently, and I think there was at the start of the season. Now you're probably going to hate me for saying this, but at the start of the season, I really felt like he had this sense of entitlement to this title. And he thought it was just going to be his because he's worked hard. He's then said something along the lines of, if I was a Mercedes driver 5 years ago, I'd have 3 titles or something like that.
Did he?
He's come out with some, yeah, he came out and said that if I was a Mercedes driver when Mercedes are winning everything, I'd have world titles to my name because he beat Lewis Hamilton that year.
Right.
And I'm just a bit like, come on, mate. I know I know you're a bit stressed that you're not winning everything and the car's broken down a couple of times, but maybe it's that sort of persona and personality that's not getting Mercedes to sign on that dotted line. I don't know. And
Could
like,
be.
there was a video after one of the races. It might have been Japan, where he
Hmm.
sort of sat in in his driver's room, sort of leaning back on his chair, so it's just on 2 legs, which scares me already. I'm like, what if that breaks? What if he hurts himself? I think Sinead and I do quite a bit of teaching every now and then, and we see that and we go, a child's going to hurt
Mm,
himself. Anyway, he's
yeah.
there and he's just sort of throwing his toys out the pram a little bit, and Toto's like, it happens. like, you can't help when the safety car it was a lap too late. And he's like, yeah, but then I had issues with my battery as well. So what you could, like, it was almost like, come on, it's a team game. Let's play the team game. And I don't want him to feel the sense of entitlement, because I feel like, as a fan watching it and all the social media, I'm like I'm able to see, it looks like there is this sense of entitlement, and I don't really like it. And I don't know if that may be something to do with Mercedes in this signing situation, or maybe they're
Hmm.
waiting for Max Verstappen to go, I want to drive a fast car.
That's
But
the
you put
rumor.
Verstappen and Antonelli, if you put Verstappen and Antonelli, it's going to end up in tears, I think.
Yeah, that's the rumor that Nick essentially Toto is like waiting for Max to leave Red Bull and then snatch him. But I think you're right. I think having like the young whippersnapper and like the goat in a lot of people's eyes on the same team is a recipe for disaster.
Could be hard. And I also do feel for George, right? Like, he's been with that team. He was with Williams for ages. He did everything he could to get into that Mercedes. He then did beat Lewis Hamilton. He won a race in 2022, I think. And then, yeah, George is a fantastic driver and he is great. There's a couple of things that I just see and I go, but I also get it. There's a young 19-year-old kid beating him in technically
Yeah.
what should be his team, because he's been there for longer.
Hmm.
Um, but he's just got to work a bit harder. He's got to spend less time in your office and more time focusing on his
More
driving.
time training. Yeah, that's a fair point.
Those are my thoughts.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Any other bits of news, or should we have a relatively short episode today and move on to Quizifying and Who Am I? Okay.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. So Quizifying is a pun based on qualifying. I love a pun. Where one of us asks the other one a question about Formula One. Could be anything from Formula One history, about the drivers, about the team principles, about the tracks, anything at all. My job is to try to trip Jay up because he knows so much. And his job is to try to make my question difficult enough, because it's sort of sometimes I know stuff and sometimes I don't. And we hope you play along, try to get the answer right. And then Who Am I is kind of what it says on the tin. The other one of us will read out like a paragraph they put together about a driver, and the other one has to guess who that driver is based on the information. So, shall we crack on with Quizifying?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. I've really been getting into my themed questions recently. So this one is an Austrian GP themed question. Okay. There are only 2 drivers on the current grid who have won more than once at the Austrian Grand Prix. Who are they?
Lewis Hamilton. Is that right?
Go on.
Oh. And I think it has to be Max Verstappen, but I also think you could be throwing me a curveball here, and it might not be. Because Max Verstappen he got the Charles Leclerc off the track once, and he has won comfortably. I'm going to go for Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton.
Wrong. I did throw you a curveball.
Bottas.
I wouldn't have asked you a question where the answer was Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. Like
Bottas.
Yes. The answer is Max Verstappen and Valtteri Bottas.
Bottas.
So Max Verstappen won in 2018, 2019, 2021, and 2023. He actually holds the record for most wins. And Valtteri Bottas won in 2017 and 2020. And Lewis Hamilton has only won once in 2016. During his sort of run of being amazing, Nico Rosberg actually won there twice. So.
Right.
So there you go.
Okay. Yeah. Well done. Good
Thanks.
curveball to throw. Well done. Damn it, I'm so annoyed. Okay. Time for Who Am I? Who am I? I won GP2 in my first year of competing in 2009, becoming the only becoming only the third driver to do so in my rookie year after Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton. I then signed for Williams in 2010, and I also got pole position for them at the Brazilian Grand Prix, but I was then replaced, so I joined Force India in 2011 as a third driver before taking a full-time race seat in 2012. I then played musical chairs and drove for 4 different teams over the next 14 years with a little sabbatical somewhere in there as well. I still haven't got that first win, but I did win the Le Mans 24-hour race in 2015 for Porsche. And my Formula One career hit a new height last year where I scored my first podium, and I am still motivated as ever to help my current team rise to the top. Who am I?
I won my first podium, 3rd place at Silverstone. I am Nico Hülkenberg.
Yeah,
Yay!
well done.
Woo!
Is that was the bit that got you, or did you have an idea before?
No, I did. When you said Le Mans, I knew because my partner told he was like, "Oh, Nico, sorry, let's try that again." It was Le Mans because my partner mentioned once that he had won Le Mans, even though he'd never won an F1 race.
Yes. Okay, good.
Yeah.
This knowledge is getting better, Sinead, on a week-by-week basis. It's very good. I'm very impressed.
Thank you.
And I hope everyone who is listening, I hope you're sort of learning some new stuff every week as well. And I speak on behalf of both of us. I think we're really, really enjoying this, and we're going to keep on doing it every week. We try to bring you an episode early part of every week as we go. We will be coming back to you with our race review of the Austrian Grand Prix sometime early next week. But hope everybody is well and keeping cool in this ridiculous heat if you're based in the UK. And have a wonderful week and enjoy the Austrian Grand Prix. But Sinead, I think it's time to box.
It is indeed. You've been listening to the Formula Fun podcast, where Jay brings the formula
and Sinead brings the fun. Thank you very much, everyone. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Beep, beep.